Microsoft Teams is the hub for teamwork that allows you to communicate and collaborate in a single and secure location. So you can really think about it as a four-in-one solution. You have your messaging, which is your rich chat-based experience, your online meetings, where you can always stay connected, as well as your calling capabilities. Also, you have your native integration with the familiar Office apps. All of these experiences are built for the web browser as well as in your apps, so you can use all of your devices running Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android. You may have asked yourself, how do we use Teams in your day-to-day work? Let me show you. So here I am in my Microsoft Teams desktop app. You can see in the left navigation bar we have Activity, Chats, Teams, Calendar, which you can find meetings in, Calls, and Files. In the ellipses here, that is where you'll find the Shifts experience, which is a schedule management tool. You typically want to start your day in the activity feed on the left-hand side here. And this is really where you see all your information coming in from your teams. Sometimes I like to use the filter button to really triage the most important information. One of my favorite ones is always looking at my @ mentions. The way to do that is clicking the filter button here, and in the ellipses, you will see @ mentions. That way you can create a to-do list in the morning and organize yourself. Then I can jump to chat. And this is where I have my private one-on-one chats as well as my group chats. To keep yourself organized, you can pin chats to the top that you use on a regular basis like I've done here. I can unpin it if I'd like, but I'm going to keep that one pinned. That way you can stay efficient, but you can also have your recent chats right underneath. Then you can jump to Teams on the left-hand side here, and this is really where all the collaboration magic happens. As you can see, I am part of a couple teams. I'm a part of Mammoth HR and then Mammoth Minds Frontline. Every team has a set of channels, and the way to think about channels is really a shared workspace where you can communicate and collaborate in a single location about a particular topic. For example, I have the Mammoth post here in Mammoth Minds. If I had a project that I want to organize that has to do with the upcoming newsletter we have, this is where all the conversation would happen, the files, and any other pertinent information to that topic. But for now, let's jump into the Mammoth HR General chat here. You can see every conversation has a reply button so that you can thread all of your related messages together so that you can easily stay on top of the things. And I can also like a message here as well as even save a message through this ellipses so I can go back to it at a later time. If you are working with people around the world, the application has a feature to translate inside the chat box. I can actually translate, in this case, Spanish into English. Now, you know exactly what was said and allows you to collaborate and communicate with people worldwide, even if you don't speak the same language. This application supports up to 44 different languages. Let me show you here. We have a message up top that says, Yo quiero un papel. And then if I do the translator here, it will automatically put it into English. It'll recognize that it was in Spanish before and convert it into English, which is a very neat feature for collaborating with other vendors or people. There is also a feature called Team Secure Guest Access. This allows you to work with external partners or vendors that don't work directly for the company. You can see here Lee is clearly labeled as a guest, so you can easily know who's a part of your organization and who's not. So if you want to compose a message, I can use the rich text editing options, which is located down below the chat box here. And you can add a subject, bullet points, which is right here, as well as make the message important by clicking the ellipses. And that way, the members of your team know this needs tending to as soon as possible. You can even highlight things. And also, if you need to add a hyperlink text, that's also an option here. You can also attach a file, which is next to the rich text editing options. And to humanize the conversation, you can use emojis, GIFs, stickers to keep the workplace a little bit fun. So when you attach something here, it actually uploads the file in the team files repository, which is easily accessible here at the top. And the back end here is actually using SharePoint. So you have all your rich protections as well as your collaboration benefits, such as uploading an Excel file or PowerPoint that can be opened within the app. But if I were to add a file in the private chat section, it actually sits on my personal OneDrive for Business. If I were to upload the same file into my Teams, which would be added to my SharePoint here. Microsoft Teams has a complete meeting solution that supports sharing, video, and audio conferencing. To access that, you click on the calendar button to the left, and it brings up your daily view of all your meetings. I can also schedule a meeting on the top right here from the platform, as well as create a live event. This can hold up to 10,000 participants and can participate in real time. So I went back to my calendar feature, and you can see here all the meetings scheduled for you. If I click on one of the meetings, you can see all the attendees, the organizers, and you can also chat with participants. This is a text-based chat channel for these specific people in this meeting. Now I'm going to go back to the calendar, and one of the cool features when joining a meeting is before you actually do join it, there's sort of a pre-joined screen. So it saves you in terms if you want to, mute the microphone, if you want to turn the camera off, maybe you just woke up or something, and you can also mute the audio down below here. Maybe you're in a VTC room and you don't want the sound coming in. If a lot of people are pre-joined to the call, it'll say you're a bit late to the meeting. Maybe there's 5 different people already on, and it'll mute your microphone by default. So I'm going to go ahead and join this meeting. That way I can show you from a content sharing perspective what this application can actually do. So here I click the share button, this little arrow down below. As you can see, I can actually share my desktop if I wanted to, or I can share individual windows using the remote app capabilities just to show the window itself. Then I even PowerPoint files because they're a part of my most recently used documents. They surface right here to the right. That way you can actually use Teams' native integration with PowerPoint Online to actually present that file. And if you want to, you can allow people to even fast forward through that content before you go over it. That way it's a really efficient way to do remote presentations. You also have the ability to record meetings right here in the ellipses next to the sharing content button. This is really helpful if someone misses the meeting or if you want to go back and review it. You can also blur the background here. That way, anything behind you is removed and there are no longer any distractions. You can see here they recorded their team's rollout planning meeting. And now you can click into it and watch the meeting in its entirety. But sometimes you don't have time, or if you really want to focus on a specific part of the meeting, with the transcription services, you can turn on captioning and see exactly what's being said. That's on the bottom right here. You can also search for specific keywords. This is great if you weren't at the meeting or late to the meeting. Let's say someone mentioned your name, and so you have the ability to actually search for that and jump to that specific part of the meeting.